Good day, everyone. We are the Group 7, and today we're going to tackle all about the process of creating a comprehensive session plan. So, once again, good morning. I am Stephanie Jane Abay, your first discussant for today. So, in creating a comprehensive session plan for an educational or training session is a big task. So, it is a significant undertaking that requires carefully thought and planning. This process involves considering all aspects of the session and organizing them effectively. A well-structured plan is essential to ensure that the training is successful, organized, and achieve its intended objectives. Now let's proceed to the importance of defining clear and measurable learning objectives. So why is it important to first define your objectives in a clear and measurable way? So, in creating a session plan, the first step is to define clear and measurable learning objectives. This step is extremely important and should not be overlooked. These objectives serve as a roadmap guiding both you trainers and trainees towards the desired outcomes of the session and to make you stay focused and aligned. So, for example, some objectives is your objectives in the session is to ensure that students understand the different methods of food preservation. So, your learning objective would be by the end of the session, students should be able to differentiate between different food preservation methods. They should demonstrate this ability by successfully preserving a sample of food. So, this learning objectives is clear and measurable. It specify exactly unsa man imong student unsay ang buhaton sa imong students, like students need to differentiate between different food preservation methods, and these learning objectives also provide a specific way to assess the students if they have achieved the objective by successfully preserving a sample of food. Now let's proceed to the strategies for designing engaging and interactive activities that align with the learning objectives. So when planning educational activities, it is important to first understand who your learners are and what they are interested in. By understanding their backgrounds and preferences, you can design activities that capture their attention and make learning more engaging. So in a classroom, in a group of students, your learners are diverse. They have different preferences, backgrounds, like and dislike. So it is important to design an activities that not only align to your learning objectives but also capture your learners' attention and can cater the different learning style of the students. So this can be a mix of discussion, hands-on tasks, quizzes, and games. Now, for example, to achieve your objectives of differentiating between food preservation methods and demonstrating disability, you can incorporate these activities like interactive presentations, hands-on demonstrations, comparative experiments, group projects, and preservation challenges. So, kani siyang mga activities, it engage your students, provides hands-on experience, and encourage their critical thinking skills, and offer real-world insights into food preservation methods. So, the key is to make the activities as engaging and interactive as possible to cater the different learning styles and maintain students' interest.
So let's proceed to the considerations for selecting appropriate resources, materials, and technology to support the session plan. So choosing the right mix of books, videos, software, and other materials can significantly enhance the learning experience. So when selecting resources, one should consider their relevance, accessibility, and technology. So next, relevance. Relevance of the materials must directly support the learning objectives. For instance, in a session on digital marketing, resources could include current articles on online consumer habits. Kung mupili gini tag materials, dapat align jud na siya sa learning objectives sa session. So for example, if the session focuses on digital marketing, selecting resources such as current articles on online consumer habits would be relevant. So ensuring that the materials are directly applicable to what students are expected to learn enhances their engagement and understanding of the objective of the subject matter. So next is the accessibility. So accessibility, all learners should be able to use the resources. This means considering different needs and providing materials that are available to everyone, like ensuring video content has subtitles for the hearing impaired. So, importante jud nga dapat i-make sure na to nga ang tanang learners kay maka-access ug maka-benefit sa mga selected resources regardless sa ilang abilities or needs pares anang gi-mention diri nga kanang mga nasa hearing impairment. So, this involves considering factors such as physical accessibility, example, providing materials in formats suitable for individuals with disabilities. Dito ko na. So, and digital accessibility. So, by making materials accessible to everyone, create create an inclusive learning environment where students have equal opportunities to participate and learn. So, next is technology. Incorporate technology that enhances learning without overwhelming the participants. A writing workshop might use a simple online collaboration tool to allow real-time feedback. So, kung mag-incorporate ganitag technology, mas mapalawak na ang atong learning experience, but it's important to do so thoughtfully and in a way that supports learning objectives without overwhelming participants. For example, in a writing workshop, utilizing a simple online collaboration tool can facilitate real-time feedback and interaction among participants. So pinaagi sa pag-integrate sa technology nga maka-enhance og collaboration, communication ug engagement. Educators can create um, dynamic learning experience that leverage the advantages of digital tools while remaining focused on the educational goals of the session. Next slide, please. So now let's proceed to the significance of sequencing activities and managing timing to ensure a smooth flow of the session. So a well-sequenced sessions unfolds logically where one activity leads smoothly into the next, allowing learners to build on what they've already learned. Managing timing is equally important. It ensures each activity has enough space to breathe without the session feeling rushed or dragging. Next. So, first, begin with an icebreaker or an introductory activity. So, kung mag-session ganita, murag nice po na nga, apilon po na natog icebreaker kaya aron maka-warm up ito ang mga participants niya. Ma-energize sila yeah, it can create a positive and inclusive environment. So this introductory activity can help participants feel comfortable and engaged. So next is for main activities. This should form a core of the sessions in a leadership training. For instance, this might involve role play exercise to practice negotiation skills. The main activities form the core of the session and are directly related to the learning objectives. So, for example, in a leadership training sessions, the main activity might more gina involve a role play to exercise to practice negotiation skills. So, third is for transitions. Move from one topic to another seamlessly with brief summaries or discussions that bridge the gap between activities. So, fourth is an end and end with a wrap up that reinforces the key takeaways, a summary discussion, or a closing activity that encourages reflection. So the session concludes with a wrap up activity that reinforces the key takeaways and help participants reflect on what they have learned. So this may include a summary discussion, a review of the main points covered, or a closing activity designed to encourage reflection and application of newly acquired or knowledge skills.
Now let's proceed to the role of assessment methods in evaluating learner comprehension and achievement of learning objectives. So assessment method plays a crucial role in evaluating learner comprehension and achievement of learning objectives. These methods can be categorized into affirmative and summative assessment. Formative assessments such as quizzes, homework, and discussion are ongoing tools that help identify misconceptions and learning gaps, providing feedback to improve student understanding throughout a course. On the other hand, summative assessment tests and final project evaluate student learning at the end of a unit of course, revealing what students have learned cumulatively. So to know that students are really learning from a class or training, you need to check their progress. You can do this in a two main ways. So first is during the class, ask question. Have small tasks or games that help you see who's getting the hang of it and who's not. So for example, in a cooking class, after showing how to mix ingredients for a cake, you could ask students to try it themselves and see how well they can do it. So for example, kung naamo sa cooking class, then after ma-mix ni mo ang mga ingredients sa cake, mag-ask ka sa mga student nga mo try kay para ma-ibaw sila og sound pag-mix. Then at the end of the class, this is when you give a bigger task or a test to see how much everyone has learned. The final dishes in cooking class could be a great way to see who learned to bake the cake correctly. So next is techniques for revising and refining the session plan. The techniques for revising and refining a session plan are first, use participants' feedback to understand what worked well and what didn't. Consider service, discussion, or observation of body language during the session for use. Second is facilitators should reflect on their own experiences, considering areas for their professional development and session's impact. Then last is look at the assessment result to identify trends and areas where learners struggle. Then tailor the session plan to address this issue. So for example, if most students or trainees found it hard to frost the cake smoothly, maybe next time spend more time demonstrating and practicing that part. So if some of your student is dili sila kabaw mo frost sa cake smoothly, then next time you should spend more time para imong i-demonstrate and i-practice ato nga part para masanas na sila sa sunod.
So let's proceed to the potential challenges or obstacles that may arise during the creation of a session plan and strategies for overcoming them. So first, challenges. The potential challenges in creating a session plan can include keeping content relevant and engaging. So we should ensure that the session content remains up to date and engaging for participants. It can be challenging, especially in rapidly evolving field. So kanaman kung outdated nga content kay dili nato makuha ang interes sa atong mga participants unya makababag na hinuna sa ilang learning experience. So and managing different learning activities and abilities rather and expectations. So ang mga participants kay naman dyan ay kanang lahi-lahi nga learning abilities, background ug expectations. So challenge po na para sa mga session planners nga ang pag-address sa differences sa mga participants o pag-ensure nga sila tanan kay maka-engage sa materials. So and incorporating technology effectively. So while technology can enhance the learning experience, integrating it into a session plan requires carefully consideration. Poorly implemented technology or reliance or unfamiliar tools can disrupt the flow of the session and impede the understanding of the participants. So next, strategies. Strategies to overcome this are stay updated regularly, review and update sessions materials, to stay current with the latest knowledge and practices. So to keep content relevant and engaging, session planners should regularly review and update session materials to reflect the latest knowledge and practice in the field. This will make sure that participants receive accurate and up-to-date information that is meaningful and applicable to their learning objectives. So be prepared to adjust strategies to accommodate diverse learning style and levels. So importante jud ang atong i-address ang different learning needs sa mga participants para sa success sa session. So dapat prepared jud ang mga session planners para ma-adjust ilang strategies such as using varied instructional methods and providing additional support or resources. So to accommodate different learning styles and levels of proficiency among participants. So third, I integrate technology thoughtfully. It should enhance, not hinder the learning experience. So when incorporating technology into a session plan, it's important to do so thoughtfully and purposely. Technology should enhance rather than hinder the learning experience. So ang mga session planners sad kay dapat mag-select og tools og platforms nga mo-align sa objectives sa session og needs sad sa participants.
Now let's proceed to the impact of effective session planning on the overall success of educational or training initiatives. The effectiveness of session planning significantly impacts the success of educational or training initiatives. It ensures that learners are engaged, learning objectives are met, and resources are used efficiently. Well-planned sessions lead to improved learning outcomes, greater engagement, and the ability to meet educational goals. So, in simple terms, good session planning is key to make learning or training activities successful and engaging for everyone involved. That's the end of our discussion. Thank you.